I talk about these things, I'm talking about 4 surprises you're going to get when you get to hell. And in talking about these things, you understand, I don't want you to go, and I hope you don't go, and you don't have to go, so don't go. But if you go, and some of you will, you make it, nothing I'm going to say going to change you a bit, some of you are going to make it, and when you get there, there's going to be 4 surprises you're going to get. Now, I'm going to talk about those 4 surprises, so when you run into them, you won't be as surprised as you would have been otherwise. Now, first of all, I'm going to say this. The first surprise you're going to get when you wind up in hell, the first surprise you're going to get is to find out that it's there. You see, and somewhere in your imagination, you thought all along, well, it just couldn't be. And then you're going to find out it is. And that's going to be a surprise. You see, the world jokes about hell so much, after a while you get taking it lightly. I mean, out there in the job, you guys that work out in the job, you know how it is. You know, hell this and hell less and hell so-and-so and hell so-and-so, and I'll knock the hell out of you. Why, people use that expression all the time. And they use it so much after a while, people think it's just, an expression. You're going to be shocked when you find out it's not an expression. It's a reality. Hell is no joke. It's no joke. And you're going to find out when you get there. You're going to be shocked when you find out when you get there. A fellow told me, he said, well, he said, heaven for climate, hell for company. He said, I think all the interesting folks are going to be in hell. Well, maybe they'll be in hell, but you won't be interested in them when you get there. And they won't be interested in you. You can't be interested in somebody and have big fellowship when you're suffering 3rd-degree burns in fire. It doesn't work out that way. They have all kinds of things about that. I heard a fellow say one time, I dealt about going to hell, and he said, when I get to hell, I'm going to take over. I'll be in charge of stoking the furnaces. I'll take over the place. What a saphead, man. I looked at that guy. He had arms like pipe stems, He couldn't have busted his way out of a wet paper bag, man. Did you ever notice how most of those hippies pose? They always pose in jackets or clothes on. You know why that is? Because most of them from the waist up look like an emaciated giraffe. That's the problem. I mean, they're like bugs that come out of the woodwork at night, and they stay sleeping all the daytime. They come out the white as paste. Little got old arms, that much of baby fat on them. There's no kind of condition, those people. I'm going to take it over. No, you ain't going to take it over. Folks joke about it. They joke about going to hell because they think God wouldn't do it. Why, the new translations all get rid of hell. Don't you know that? Have you got your new international version? You won't find hell in that book. It says Hades. You won't find any hell there. I mean, they smooth the text out for ears polite and snugly keep damnation out of sight, as an old British divine one said one time. The new Bibles, they'll translate the word Uranus for heaven, or Shemayim for heaven, but they won't translate the word Hades. They won't translate that. Upset folks. As a consequence, you have a whole race of people, a whole generation of people, 3 or 4 generations of people in America, they think hell's got air conditioning in the last 20 or 30 years. Let me tell you something. When you find folks that think hell's been air conditioned, you're talking to folks about to move in. I learned that. When you hear a fellow guy fixing up hell to make it a decent place to live in, it's because he's about to move in. That's how that thing works. But the thing is, you don't think God would do it. And I know your reasoning on it. You reason, well, why God wouldn't do a thing like that? I wouldn't do a thing like that. Why, I don't hate anybody enough to see him burn forever. Why, but God Almighty hates somebody to burn him, let him burn forever. God is love. 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 You have to get off that kick sometime. That Bible says our God is a consuming fire. That book says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I will repay. You know what your problem is? You got a God after your own image. In your mind eye, you wouldn't let anybody burn in hell forever, so you don't think God would do it, because after all, he must be much more forgiving than you are, and merciful than you are. We can't think like God, people. We're not God. We're sinners. We don't think like God thinks. Why, there's anybody in this building who would sentence anybody to the electric chair for stealing fruit off a tree. You wouldn't sentence anybody to die for stealing fruit off a tree, would you? Of course you wouldn't. But God did. You see, you don't think like God. There's anybody in this building who hates anybody enough to want to see him burn forever. Not forever, Maybe a little while. But not forever. I mean, you wouldn't imagine such hatred that cause an enemy to burn forever and ever. Not that much. But you know what the problem is? You don't think like God thinks. God is holy. You're not holy.